Hi everyone, Ryan here, Ion Capital Solutions. Hope you're doing well. So, as you could have guessed by looking at the thumbnail, today I want to talk to you about no longer throwing money away on leads, right? Where are the good leads? Who's got the good leads? Where are the bad leads? Which methodology should you be using? Very important questions, right? Anyway, so if you want to know the answer, stick around. Okay, so there's really three roads you can go down, right? There's paid advertising, there's free lead generation, and there's buying leads. Now, I'm sure you can see here which road leads forward, right? And which road basically takes you off the main path, right? So with that being said, let's take a look, okay? So buying leads is just a complete and utter waste of money. Okay. At a certain point, yes, a lot of people, a lot of businesses would buy leads, and for a while it worked, right? The problem is so many businesses since 2008 have taken cash advances, term loan products, equipment financing, factoring, business lines of credit. And on the investment side, there's so many investors out there who have done just the same, who've taken a lot of, hard money products or, whatever it is, right? Every time these people borrow money, that data goes into a system. And there are companies that will buy books of business from lending firms that either sell their book, are willing to sell data, right? Whatever it is, that's where these leads come from. Okay. And it's aged data that is being sold and passed around. And the older it gets, the cheaper it gets. But it's being sold to a lot of people. That's why when you call a lead that you buy, there's 100 other brokers calling them. And it's a high contention file, if it's even a deal at all. And so the better leads come from younger files, right? So if it's, brand new and it's somebody who just showed interest today versus 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it may be. Now, keep in mind that the age of that data is not based on the first time that they've ever inquired about funding, but the last time that someone reached out to them and connected with them and then sold that lead. Okay. So it's based on somewhat interest level. Okay. The interest of the potential borrower, right? Whether or not they want money or not. Okay, so let's look a little bit harder. Okay, first let's look at essentially the negatives. Okay, depending on buying leads creates a dependency and a recurring bill. So if it becomes part of your business model, you need those leads to keep moving forward, right? And you're going to have to count on that cost every single month. And keep in mind that the conversion rate is never the same, which means there's no consistency there, right? So one month you could be great, next month could be really bad, right? And so the cost goes up and down. Sometimes you just get bad batches and it's just difficult to really, stay afloat. Lead sales companies always sell data to your competitors. You will anybody who's selling leads is not giving you an exclusive lead, whether it says exclusivity or not. You're not going to get an exclusive lead. It's always going to be a high contention file. It's just the way it goes. And buying leads squeezes your profit, of course, right? Your ROI at the end of the month is greatly affected by buying leads, right? So obviously something to pay attention to. But back to what I was saying before. You see, typically, and this is just from going on Google and looking at different lead sales websites, and you're welcome to do your own research, okay? But typically, leads can be anywhere under $1 for leads that are aged more than 90 days. This goes back as far as, usually 2 years is about the oldest data that you'll see that's, anybody deems worth selling or buying. Right? It could be as low as, a couple cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, whatever it is, right? Anything that's $1 is usually 30 to 90 days old, meaning within the last 30 to 90 days, that borrower or potential borrower showed interest according to this lead sales company. And that really is something you need to read in between the lines on, because a lot of lead sales companies are actually firms in third world countries that are essentially just outsourcing that calling center work to a place in the world where wages are far lower, making it really cheap for labor, getting people to hop on the phone and just hound somebody, call them 20 times in the day, finally get them on the phone and say, hang on, I'm connecting you to one of our loan specialists, while the person is angry at them, yelling, stop calling me, leave me alone, I'm not interested. And then they'll connect you with that person, right? You thought you bought a $35 real-time callback, right? Well, they'll call you back with the client, or a live transfer lead, a $45 live transfer lead where they're going to transfer that client over to you. And you just end up on the phone with somebody who's angry and wants to know why you're calling them all the time. You have to understand, where it may sound exciting, the reality is it's usually really bad data, really angry customers who are being harassed. So I could go on, but I think you're getting the gist of what I'm saying. Buying leads, it's not what you want to do. It's expensive, time consuming. It's going to frustrate you. It's going to frustrate clients. It's high contention files. There's no need for it anymore. Don't do it. Okay. Advertising is very expensive, especially Facebook. Okay. YouTube is great. I don't see how it really applies to trying to find borrowers for funding. You don't really use YouTube for that. YouTube is more how-to culture, right? But with that being said, at least they have the skip now button on YouTube, whereas Facebook, you're just paying for the ad running, right? And whoever views it or doesn't view it, doesn't matter. You're paying. It's very expensive. Facebook, Instagram, now one and the same, right? You could do some Google AdWords stuff. You could try Spotify and Pandora and radio. You're not really going to get much interest there unless you have a lot of money. And that's because advertising is branding. You want your brand to be recognizable. You're not going to get impulse buy off of an ad. Ads are generally for cheap impulse buy items, right? It's around Christmas time, the new fidget spinner. Right, it's a couple bucks, screw it. It's a stocking item that I can throw in my kid's stocking, right? A couple days before Christmas, I forgot to take care of the stockings. That's running a quick ad, a cheap ad is going to get for you. You're going to have a lot of difficulty finding qualified, interested parties based on your ads. It's going to be very expensive. How do I know that? Because I talk to people every single day that are doing just that, and it's breaking the bank, right? And the people that they do end up connecting with are not even close to qualified. Right? So, which brings me actually back to this slide really quick. Just because you're buying data from somebody doesn't mean that you have a qualified client. And the lead sales company has no idea how to qualify a client. They do not even close. They may ask a few survey questions. They don't have even the first clue how to analyze the file, its financials, underwrite the file, lost. So you're not buying qualified data, okay? Anyway, advertising is very expensive. There's an upfront no ROI cost of trial and error. Understand that, right? So right out of the gate, you are going to have to spend a bunch of money and test to see which ad works and gets engagement, right? And then of the people engaging, how many of those people apply? Of those people applying, how many people get funded? Sounds expensive, right? It's because it is. And there's no end in sight, especially when you're trying something new, okay? You have a lot of competition for keywords, right? If you're doing Google AdWords and things like that, keywords are expensive, right? Because they're a lot of people. If you want to put in real estate funding or just real estate, there are a million different people out there right now using those same keywords, which drives up the cost of the listing if you're going to put it on Google, right? In the search bar or whatever it may be, based on how competitive it is for you to get that space online, right? So it's it's expensive, right? Same thing with views, listings. Anyway, it's also constantly changing. Even if you find something that's working, how do you know it's going to work next month? You just don't. So anyway, advertising, buying leads, it's not what you want to do, okay? The reality is growing your own leads, utilizing lead generation methods, that is what you want to do, okay? Because all it's going to cost you is sweat equity, okay? And it only takes about an hour and a half a day using the multi-platform approach that we teach here at ION for you to keep a nice, active, full funnel. Can you really argue with free, right? As far as qualified data, that's on you. You're a broker. You need to understand how to properly qualify your clients. And if you have a proper qualification process and you underwrite files yourself, you know the difference between fundable deals and non-fundable deals, which means the data that you're submitting to your lenders has a good chance of funding, right? You have brokers that understand that, and then you have gamblers who are just rolling the dice every time they throw a file at a lender and hope that it funds. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic, but important, okay? But with that being said, it's free, it's easy, it absolutely works. Everybody here at Ion uses lead generation methods, our multi-platform lead generation methods. And so how does it work? Well, I'm not going to tell you, right? You got to book a call. If you're interested, you join our program, right? You can learn more essentially about how our lead generation methods work, but they absolutely work. And if you want to see testimonials about that, well, just check out our YouTube channel. Anyway, a PSA, stop spending money on leads. Okay? Anyway, thanks everybody for your time. Wish you all the best. I'll catch you in the next video.